That's what it does, right? I mean, end of the day, in case there's an emergency, it makes sure that the fire doesn't spread and we're able to contain it.
We can never repay our parents, but we can reward them with the knowledge of insurance.
Perfect. Now, if you dig a bit deeper, there could be a million other reasons for somebody who is above 60 to get hospitalized.
You have probably secured a health insurance for yourself and your spouse. But what about your parents? Let me give you a quick reality check. Heart bypass surgery costs anywhere between 3 and 5 lakh rupees. Knee replacement surgery, 3 to 6 lakhs. Cancer treatment, that is for chemotherapy, 5 to 15 lakh rupees. Annual cost of dialysis, 2 to 3 lakh rupees. ICU charges per day, 8 to 40,000 rupees easy. And regular doctor visits and tests, 5,000 to 20,000 rupees annually. Now, many of you might assume that, hey, I'm just going to use my savings and I don't have to pay my health insurance premiums for my parents. Well, we have a couple of reasons why we think that is not a good idea. To exactly discuss those, today I have with me in the studio Supreet. Supreet is our senior program manager here at Ditto, and he will tell us why is it really important to get a health insurance for your parents. Supreet, welcome.
Hey, Shashank, good to be back here.
And good to have you here again after a long time.
Thank you. It's been a while, yes.
So, Supreet, while I stated those facts, there was one more thing that I forgot to mention. That is, people do want to use up the savings for future scenarios. But what they don't factor in is the fact that India's inflation rate, especially in the medical field, is upwards of 14-15% every year. So that is also one of the reasons why I feel that relying on your savings might not be the best option. Now, I want to hear it from you.
Right. I think before we discuss that particular question, whether should we use our savings or health insurance, I just want to address one aspect here, which is the perspective of health insurance, right? Now, why do we even need a health insurance? Now, for example, do you see the fire extinguisher there?
Yeah, I do.
Right. So, why do you think that is there in the building right now?
In case something lit happens in the on the floor and during emergencies, right?
Good one there. Yeah, correct. Right, for emergencies, you said, but it costs us money. I mean, just look at the floor, the entire building. We might have quite a few of those. And when was the last time we have used one in this building?
Thankfully, never.
Never, right?
Yeah.
But we're still spending money on it. We have to refill it, maintain it, and it's an ongoing process. And we'll continue to do it, whether we use it or not. We'll continue to do it, right? So that's what it does, right? I mean, end of the day, in case there's an emergency, it makes sure that the fire doesn't spread and we're able to contain it, right? And we're going to probably save some money, by doing that. Uh, that's exactly what a health insurance would do. Maybe for many years we're not going to use it. Let's say I have a health insurance, you have one for yourself. I hope you have
Oh,
one.
yes, I do.
You have one. So, what does it do? I mean, touch wood. I mean, many years, I feel that a lot of us we are not going to use the health insurance. But if at all, right, circumstances, bad luck, and our own lifestyles, maybe, if at all that situation ever comes up, it is going to help us save a lot of money, and we don't have to end up spending our savings and could be a bankrupt situation also. I've seen that happening with a couple of people. Yeah, and it's a smart thing that we have done, that we have taken insurance at a very early age. Uh, but back in the day, let's say my parents or your parents were not financially aware of the usefulness of a health insurance, how it can save them money. Maybe they gambled a bit as well. Maybe the probability of hospitalizations weren't as great as it is today. So probably they relied more on the savings, and they spent less. Right? Our parents, they would probably, they sacrificed a lot of their wants to fulfill probably our dreams. Our education or maybe a bike or all those things. And it also makes sense for us to now look out for them. Um, Even if we cannot repay them back for whatever they have done, what we can do is we can make sure that you either educate them about the financial aspects of things, maybe investments, insurance, etc., and also make sure that they don't end up spending more on medical related situations.
That actually makes sense, Supreet, because uh, we can never repay our parents, but we can reward them with the knowledge of insurance.
Perfect. Well
And
put.
and this exact rewarding is what we also do to our audience who watch here. So, folks, if you are new to our channel, Ditto Insurance is an insurance advisory platform where you can get free health and term insurance advice. We are on a mission to make India insurance aware, and you don't have to buy your policy through us. If you would like to just compare two policies, it may be health or term insurance. If you want to, say, port your policy, or if you want to buy a new one, we can help you with that as well. We just don't stand with you when you want to purchase an insurance, but God forbid, if there's a time of claim, then we are there with you as well. Head to the description and we have a link there for you. Click on that and you can book a free consultation with us, and our IRDI certified advisors will be assigned to you. That being said, Supreet, let's get back and let's talk about why do you think it's not a great idea to have used up our savings and instead use health insurance.
Right. So I just kind of got deflected there a bit. I think this will get edited for sure. Coming back to that question, Shashank, I think we have discussed this in our previous videos. We have clearly outlined the importance of health insurance, how it is going to save us money. So it's kind of a no-brainer that health insurance eventually is going to help us uh, save money. But let me throw you some facts here, right? Some data points.
Okay.
What is the current situation? You mentioned one important point, that the medical inflation is at 14-15%. So what does it actually mean? Whatever the cost of the treatment today, for example, a kidney stone surgery, right? Now let's say it costs a lakh today. So next year, the same treatment can cost about a lakh and 15,000 or 20,000 as well. So every year it is increasing by the rate of 14-15%. And you can imagine 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, what would be the cost of these treatments? Right now, we are buying insurance considering today's cost, but we also have to account for this medical inflation when we are taking a call. So some more facts there, some more. Today, we have about 1.4, almost 1.5 billion people in India today, and out of which 77 million people who are above the age of 60, they are diabetic, and 1 in 4 adults today have hypertension, and 15 million people today have arthritis or joint related issues. And then this data is sourced from National Health Profile, which is a government maintained data. These are some of the common chronic conditions, right? Now, if you dig a bit deeper, there could be a million other reasons for somebody who is above 60 to get hospitalized. And I'm not even counting for those minor things, where somebody gets hospitalized for a day or two. But if you account for all this, the probability of a senior citizen, somebody who is above the 60 years of age, getting hospitalized is fairly high in today's condition, and the treatment costs are expensive. So, understanding these facts, these data points, Ashank, tell me, is it even worth taking that gamble?
No, definitely not. Let your health insurance do what it's supposed to do.
Right? The only downside that I see is the premiums are slightly on the higher side compared to somebody who is buying it in their 20s or 30s. If somebody can afford it, please do consider a health insurance for your parents if you haven't figured this out yet.
Now, Supreet, do you have any other reason up your sleeve as to why someone should really get a health insurance for their parents?
So we have discussed multiple reasons. One of the main reasons is to avoid bankruptcy situation for them, right? I mean, you can make them financially aware and help them choose a right health insurance, help them purchase it. And in case of a situation, your health insurance is going to cover for the treatment cost, and eventually will help you retain your savings. Another couple of reasons that I can think of, one is, let's say, coverage point of view, right? Now, it just doesn't cover the hospitalization part. What it also does is cover something called as pre and post hospitalization as well. Now, imagine if one is consulting a doctor for a particular symptom, and then eventually that leads to a hospitalization, then whatever expenses that were incurred before the hospitalization for the related treatment will get covered as well.
Okay.
Once the patient gets discharged, let's say there is medications that gets involved, and then recovery, let's say physiotherapy, for example, could be diagnostic tests. All these things will get covered as a part of pre and post hospitalization.
Perfect. So that also makes up a certain chunk of the medical bill, right?
Why not, right? I mean, if let's say diagnostic tests cost about 5 to 10K, and doctor consultations cost about 4 to 5K, and this happens 2 or 3 times a year, you're already saving a good 40, 50K without a hospitalization.
Okay, now Supreet, we are at a very interesting segment in this video. I've picked out 4 scenarios, that is 4 different personas of parents. The audience would relate to this very much because this is going to be a rapid fire round.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going to tell you the ages of the parents. I'm going to tell you if they have any pre-existing conditions, and you can give the best advice at the moment.
One disclaimer though, yeah, definitely I'll answer the questions to the best of my knowledge. But sometimes recommendations may involve a lot of medical profiling and other things to consider. So for detailed recommendations, please do call us and get the best advice. But yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, scenario 1.
Yes.
Healthy parents, the ages of father and mother are around 55 and 56, and they want to buy health insurance.
Okay. Any pre-existing conditions?
No.
Nothing?
No.
The best of the plans in the market. I mean, I don't think they should settle for anything less. A company which has the best settlement ratios and a cover amount of about 10 to 15 lakh as a basic, as a minimum. But of course, if premiums are not a concern, can go for higher cover as well. Would recommend a family floater here, not two individual plans, because family floaters can always reduce your premiums fair bit. So yeah, best of the plans, I think.
Perfect. Now, scenario 2. Parents with diabetes, father 63, mother 60, and pre existing conditions. The father has diabetes and both have hypertension. So, what is your plan recommendation?
Okay. So for diabetes and hypertension, it is good to consider plans which have features like or add-ons like instant cover or chronic disease coverage, where certain pre-existing conditions like diabetes, hypertension, asthma, cholesterol, sometimes a couple of more pre-existing conditions as well, they get covered from the 31st day. So it's a good add-on. So whichever plan that has this feature of adding this particular rider, for example, there is Care Supreme, a plan that one can consider, or Aditya Birla One Max with chronic care add-on, and there is Care Supreme with instant cover add-on, and then there's ICICI Elevate as well.
Now, scenario 3. Parents both over 70 and they have no health insurance, prior health insurance, and the mother has rheumatoid arthritis and the father has had an angioplasty. So, best plan recommendation.
So here, a floater might not be a great idea, because probably for one parent there could be a better plan that is suited, but for the other one, maybe that plan is not applicable. So here, the recommendation firstly is to look for separate plans when there are slightly more severe pre-existing conditions, and there's a fair chance that the insurers might reject the policy as well. So you might have to look for a particular insurance when there are slightly complicated health conditions, especially like rheumatoid arthritis. The chances are very slim, but there's this plan called Care Freedom, which can consider it. Of course, there's a chance that they might permanently exclude covering that particular condition. Also, one can check for ICICI Elevate as well. Maybe they can consider it. The underwriting process can be slightly bit more lenient. And sorry, for the other parent, what was the health condition you mentioned?
The dad had an angioplasty before.
Angioplasty. So if angioplasty was done in the past, so one may have to particularly look for heart related plans. So there's one in Care Heart plan. I think Star Health as a cardiac care plan as well. So may have to specifically look for plans which will cover heart related condition as a pre-existing condition. So the chances are less, but yeah, of course, you can still try and see what is the best fit.
Right. And we also shot a video where we spoke about chronic illnesses that are covered in health insurance. So I'll link that in the description below if you guys want to watch.
Sorry to interrupt you. So one more tip, I think one more thing one can consider is, so in situations like this, you can enroll them in your corporate plans, company provided plans, because they don't have any restrictions for pre-existing conditions or any waiting periods. And also Ayushman Bharat scheme from Government of India, one can look into, although very basic plan and very primitive coverage. But yeah, I mean, something is better than nothing.
So, and the last scenario is both parents running a business. Okay. The father is 65, the mother is 60, and father has had mild asthma for some time, and mother has high cholesterol. So, what's your plan recommendation?
Yeah, asthma and cholesterol. I mean, again, when you say high cholesterol, right, it depends on the severity as per the insurer's range. But comprehensive plans are still, they are willing to cover conditions like asthma and cholesterol. There's a fair chance of loading charges or rejection chances as well. Can definitely try for that. But since you mentioned they are self-employed, they have their own businesses. So one hack here is, if somebody is running their own firm with a fair number of employees, then what they can also consider is a corporate plan for their organization, right? So and if they are self-employed, they can avail health insurance benefits through those corporate plans as well. Yeah, like I said earlier, again, corporate plans, there are no waiting periods or there are no restriction on pre-existing condition, will definitely be helpful. Of course, the tax benefits is something that they can avail as well.
Perfect. So now, Supreet, going back to the video that we did 5, 6 months ago about senior citizens plan, because you just mentioned about they can get a senior citizen plan. So, are there any checkpoints to look out for when someone is looking out to particularly buy a senior citizen health insurance policy?
So one thing I just want to clarify, right now, when we are considering health insurance for parents, I mean, the myth is that because they're older, maybe the insurance companies are not willing to cover them, which is completely untrue. It depends on the existing health conditions. So if somebody's even as old as 80 years old, touch wood, with no pre-existing conditions, insurance companies, in fact, are more favorable to them uh, versus somebody who is in their 20s with a lot of baggage, right, with a lot of pre-existing conditions. Having said that, definitely research and definitely consider a health insurance for your parents. If you ask me why, first of all, yeah, I mean, the points that we discussed earlier, the savings, tax benefits, and features as well. Right now, you can look for plans. You can look for plans that cover a minimum of about 10 to 20 lakhs. You have these bonus aspects these days as well, a good amount of bonus features. So do account for that for medical inflation in the coming years. Look for plans with no room rent restrictions. Look for plans which cover pre-existing condition as soon as possible. And yeah, pre and post hospitalization cover. And if OPD cover is there, good, but that need not be a decision maker or a breaker. Apart from that, features like health checkup benefits is handy. And Ayush as well. Right now, somebody that I have seen. I mean, I've never seen that at my house before. I thought that this is something that many people probably may not consider. But yeah, having spoken to a lot of clients when they come for claims, especially, Ayush is a decent thing to consider as well. I mean, a lot of people actually opting for it these days. So, but there are a lot of clauses here. I mean, in terms of coverage, so it's always better to speak to probably somebody at Ditto maybe, before you actually finalize your plans. Just make that one phone call, ask your questions, ask your doubts, and just to make sure that you have the right plan with you. And yeah, I mean, a lot of good reasons I think we have discussed in this video why one should consider health insurance for their parents.
True, Supreet.
And yeah, don't forget, it's your time now to do something for them.
100% Supreet. This turned out to be one of those videos where we didn't plan on really touching upon the emotional aspect, but then emotion always drives good results, right? So, thank you so much for joining us, Supreet. And folks, this was our review on why you should get a health insurance for your parents. We discussed all the 4 different scenarios, and if your parents fall into one of those buckets, then please let us know, and you can do that by booking a free call with us with the link in the description. So, Supreet, thank you so much for joining us. We'll soon make more number of videos like this as a part of our project where we want to make India insurance aware. And thank you for joining us again, Supreet.
Pleasure was mine. Cheers.
Cheers. So, all right, folks, I will see you in the next one. Happy insurance hunting.